Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be explaining the poem A Tiger in the Zoo along with all the poetic devices. The poem is from the book First Flight of Class 10 and is written by George Leslie Norris. George Norris was a prize-winning Welsh poet and a short story writer. He was also a professor. He taught at various institutions in Britain and the United States of America. This poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, brings about the contrast between a tiger's life in the confines of a zoo and his life in his natural habitat of a forest. Let's begin. The poem has 5 stanzas. We'll take them one by one. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. Who is he? He is the tiger. Stalks means moves. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Vivid means bright colored. So as you know, tiger has bright colored stripes all over his body. So the poet is saying that the tiger is caged in a zoo and he takes steps within the confines of his cage since he cannot go out. So he just moves in his cage on pads of velvet quiet. Pads refers to his paws. So the bottom part of his feet is very soft. The poet is comparing his soft feet with velvet. So he's saying since the tiger is kept in a zoo, he cannot go anywhere, he cannot move freely. So he just moves inside his cage. He moves on his soft feet, quietly in his quiet rage. Rage means anger. So the poet is using two contradictory terms, quiet and rage. So a person who is angry, he cannot be quiet, right? But he is using both the terms for the tiger. Rage because the tiger is angry, he's unhappy in the cage, and quiet because he cannot do anything about it. He has no option but to remain in the cage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass. Now the poet is trying to describe what the life of a tiger should be like. So the poet is trying to say the tiger should not be kept and caged in a zoo. He should be left free in his natural habitat, which is a forest. So he's saying he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. The poet is saying that the tiger should be moving in a forest and he should be lurking means hiding, trying to hide. He should be trying to hide himself behind the bushes, sliding through long grass near the water hole. So near a stream of water, he should be moving quickly through the long grass where plump deer pass. So he should be waiting behind the bushes, behind the trees for his prey, and as soon as a chubby deer comes, he should be attacking it, he should be killing it. So basically the poet here is not trying to portray the violent aspect of a tiger's personality. He is just trying to say that a tiger should be left free in the forest and he should be hunting down his own food. He should be gathering his own food himself instead of just being fed by the zoo authorities. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Snarling means to make an angry and warning sound. Baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. So the poet is saying he should be moving around the houses in a village which is situated at the jungle's edge. So he should be moving around, he should be producing warning voices, warning sounds, and people should be afraid of him. See, it's just the opposite. Here, people are coming in the zoo to see a tiger. Sometimes they tease the tiger. The poet is saying it should be other way around. People should be afraid of the tiger, and he should be moving around freely, and he should be threatening him, baring his white teeth. People should be afraid of him when they see his white sharp teeth, his sharp nails, his claws terrorizing the village. He should be the one threatening the village. Again, the poet, like I said, he's not trying to portray any violent side of his personality. He is just trying to describe his natural behavior. But he's locked in a concrete cell. Now again, after describing how he should live in a forest, again the poet has come back to the zoo where the tiger is living currently. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars. But now the tiger is not in his natural habitat, he's not in the forest, he is in a cage, he's in a concrete cell in a zoo. His strength behind bars. So the tiger is kept in a cage. He has a lot of strength. He is very strong, but his strength is behind the bars of a cage. He cannot come out of the cage and he can't do anything. He can't show his strength. Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. So he just keeps stalking the length, means he just keeps moving inside his cage, ignoring visitors, because every day in a zoo so many visitors come, and sometimes they trouble the animals, sometimes they tease them, they throw stuff on them. So he's just trying to ignore all those visitors because he is fed up of this life. He feels helpless. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He hears the last voice at night. The poet is saying that at night also the tiger cannot sleep. He cannot sleep properly. He cannot relax because one voice or the other keeps coming, and he is awake till late night. He hears the last voice of the locking of the zoo, and when the zookeepers go away, and then after that also he cannot sleep properly, because then, as you know, these cars and authorities, they keep a proper check, so they keep moving around in the zoo to check if everything is all right. So those sounds also keep coming, which disturb the tiger's peace. So he just remains awake without being able to sleep. He stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So he stares with his brilliant eyes. Now his eyes are compared with the stars. At night the stars shine in the sky, right? The stars enjoy the vast unlimited sky. Similarly, in the darkness, tiger's eyes also shine. So he in a way expresses his desire, his longing for the freedom which stars enjoy in the vast sky. So he keeps looking at the stars, but again he can't do anything. He feels helpless. So yeah, this is what the poem is all about. So in this poem, the poet Leslie Norris is trying to convey to the readers that wild animals must be left free to enjoy their natural environments. If a wild animal is kept in a cage, he is enslaved, then he is nothing more than an object of entertainment. All his natural instincts, his natural behavior is suppressed, and he cannot enjoy his life. So he is trying to give a message that human beings must let them lead a natural life in their natural environment, in their natural habitat. So yeah, this is what the poem is all about. Now let's discuss the poetic devices. We'll do stanza wise. Stanza 1 and 2. Stanzas you can see on the right hand side of your computer screen. First is enjambment. So as you can see, there are certain lines which do not have any kind of punctuation marks after them. For example, first line, in first stanza, it doesn't have any punctuation mark. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. So the idea is continued onto the first line without any punctuation mark. It is called enjambment. Similarly, in stanza 2 also, you can see there is no punctuation mark after second, third line. So again, this is an example of enjambment. Next is alliteration. Very simple. Alliteration means repetition of a consonant sound in close connection. See the bold underlined words, stalks in his vivid stripes. Stalks, stripes. Sir sound is repeated here, so it is an example of alliteration. Another example that we have of alliteration is in second stanza. See the last line, where plump deer pass. Plump, pass. Per sound is repeated here, so this is also an example of alliteration. Next is metaphor. See the third line, pads of velvet. Metaphor means comparison, right? Comparison without using the words as and like. If we use the words as and like, then that comparison, that poetic device is called simile. On pads of velvet, quiet. So here, like I had described in the poem also, that the bottom part of tiger's feet is very soft, it's very fluffy, just like velvet. So he is comparing the feet, the bottom part of his feet, the paws, with velvet. So it is metaphor. Next is personification. Very simple, as you can see the underlined words. He stalks in his vivid stripes. He should be lurking in shadow. The poet is not using the word it for the tiger, right? Generally for animals we use it, but he is using he, his. He stalks in his vivid stripes. So here the tiger is personified. He is presenting the tiger as a person. So this poetic device is called personification. Next is oxymoron. Quiet, rage. As I had explained in the poem also, quiet, rage are two contradictory terms. Rage means anger. So if somebody is angry, he cannot be quiet and peaceful, right? So both the words are used for the tiger. He is angry because he has been kept, he's been kept in a cage in a zoo. He cannot go out, he cannot move freely. So since he is kept in a cage, he is angry, and he is quiet at the same time because he is helpless. He cannot do anything about it. So quiet, rage. When two contradictory terms are used together, it is called oxymoron. Next is transferred epithet. In the same expression, in the same phrase, quiet, rage, transferred epithet has been used. What is transferred epithet? When an adjective is not used with the noun it qualifies, but it's used with some other noun. It is called transferred epithet. Now let me explain it to you. The poet is saying in his quiet rage. Quiet rage. So rage is not quiet, right? Anger is not quiet. Who is quiet? The tiger. So this word quiet should have been used with tiger, with the noun tiger, but instead of directly saying quiet tiger, the poet is saying quiet rage. So there is a transfer, right? This kind of transfer is called transferred epithet. Seventh poetic device in the same stanza, stanza 1 and 2, is repetition. It's very simple. When a word, a phrase, a sentence is repeated, it is called repetition. As you can see the underlined words, quiet is repeated 2 times in stanza 1, 3rd and 4th line. So it is called repetition. So we are done with the poetic devices in stanza 1 and 2. Now we'll discuss the devices used in stanza 3 and 4. First is enjambment. Enjambment is not used in 4th stanza. As you can see, there is a punctuation mark after each and every line, right? But in 3rd paragraph, punctuation mark is not used after 1st line. In stanza 3, he should be snarling around houses. There is no punctuation mark after this line. So this is an example of enjambment. Next is alliteration. In 4th stanza, see the first line, but he's locked in a concrete cell. Locked, concrete. K sound is repeated in the words locked and concrete. Right? So it is alliteration. Second example is behind bars. B sound is repeated. Again, it's a consonant sound. So both of these are example of alliteration. Now I always tell you that when you trace alliteration in a stanza or in a poem, you have to be very careful. Alliteration is repetition of consonant sound. It is not a repetition of consonant alphabets, because same alphabets when used in different words, they produce different sounds. So you will go by the sound, not the alphabet. See, in this line, he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete cell. Both these words start with the same alphabet, C, concrete cell. But in concrete, the sound is K, and in cell, the sound is S. So this is not an example of alliteration. Please be careful about it. Moving on, next is onomatopoeia, or this is also called echoism. It means when words which denote sound are used. See, he should be snarling around houses. Snarling means producing threatening sounds and giving warning signals. So when this word snarling is used, we can imagine how the tiger must be producing this sound. So the words which denote some sound, it is called echoism or onomatopoeia. Next is personification. Again, as we discussed in first and second stanza, the poet is not using words like it or its for the tiger. He is using he, his, him, right? So he is trying to present the tiger as a person. So it's called personification. Last stanza, stanza 5, again enjambment has been used. As you can see, there is a comma after first and second lines, and after the last line there is a full stop, but after third line there is no punctuation mark. So it is called enjambment. Again, personification, he hears the last voice at night. The poet is using he, so it is called personification. Very simple. Next is repetition. As you can see in the last and second last line, he stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. The word brilliant is repeated 2 times, so it is called repetition. We have discussed all the poetic devices stanza wise. Now we'll discuss 1-2 poetic devices which have been used throughout the poem. We have to find out the rhyme scheme also. So first paragraph, stanza 1 is on the right hand side of your screen. It's very simple to find the rhyme scheme. You just have to see the last words of each and every stanza. For example, stripes rhymes with quiet and cage rhymes with rage, right? So the rhyme scheme will be A, B, A, B. Similarly, you can easily find out the rhyme scheme of other stanzas also. Then we have imagery. Imagery means usage of language in such a way as to create images and pictures through words. So throughout the poem, the poet has used imagery very beautifully. When we read the poem, we kind of imagine the tiger confined in a cage, right? And we feel very bad about him, right? So this kind of device, when the reader can pictures and images are created in the reader's mind, it is called imagery. So it evokes sympathy in our hearts for the tiger. That's all about it. I hope you must have understood the poem. If you liked my video, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.